Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you in another video. All right, so I was just listening to Dan, the Laker fan. He made me feel a lot better, man, listening to him talk about that Charlotte game. His sentiment's my sentiment, man. We're tired of seeing the team be frustrated with just themselves when we know it's not the team that's struggling. It's the strategy that we're placing on the floor from night to night. Is the Laker team a good team? I don't think they're a good team per se, but they're a lot better than what they look like without Anthony Davis. We saw that when we played with against the Nuggets. We saw that against the Wizards too. We have lineups that can close in on a team like Charlotte. We had lineups where you saw we put them on the floor last night, and we were able to run it up. The score, even though we were down by 17, we cut it to 5 in a matter of like 3 minutes. That's what the Lakers are capable of doing if we put the right people on the floor at any given moment. Any team, any team can look bad if you put the wrong players on the floor. And that's the truth, man. That is the truth about every single basketball team in existence. You can definitely make a team look worse no matter what. And so it's like, it's just about the choices, man. I said it last year. Even though the Lakers had a lot of problems, there were a lot of games that the Lakers were playing in last year with the old men, with the limited talent, that we had amendable things that we could have fixed on the floor to give us better possessions from possession to possession to possession. We had rotation players on the team last year that could have got us the stops that we ultimately never got, that could have got us the rebounds that ultimately we never got. You know what I mean? It was that he was playing players a certain way, and as a result, we looked a certain way, even in the midst of the Westbrook struggles, even in the midst of all of the AD trouble. I'm telling you guys, somebody who was watching the Lakers, all we had to do was put Dwight Howard on the floor most of the time. That's all we had to do. We were never actually as bad as we were. It will never be understood by people who look back at this team, the real fullness of just how much they could have competed if they would have just done certain things differently each and every year. When you think about the year after we won the championship in 2021 with Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell, you know what went wrong there was because of the same problem. Frank Vogel decided he was going to go with Andre Drummond, and Andre Drummond was horrible for us. And he didn't play Dennis Schroeder. He didn't play Montrezl Harrell any minutes down the stretch of that season. You know, there were certain things he was doing. We could have competed better. We had better rotations than Vogel was using. And of course, last year already described. And now this year, here we go again with the same thing. I'm telling you, from possession to possession, just about every single game we've played, even the early games when we didn't know who we were, there were certain things that we could have did with our rotations that would have made it so that we competed better in those possessions. I promise you. It was a lot of size issues. It's just about choices, man. It's just about who you putting on the floor. Who are you trusting? How long is it going to take you to come around to trusting somebody who you need to be trusting soon? This is what's going wrong here, man. This team is very limited. So you did not have time to wait to play young players, because the young players are the only ones who had the height and length to match up against the field. So what Darvin Ham should have been doing was foregoing all that traditional treating the rookies like rookies crap and playing to the desperation of his roster size. If he would have done that, we'd probably be a little above, maybe 2 or 3 games above 500. It cost us that many games, y'all. It really did. Probably more. So I'm just looking at this. I'm like, all right, we already gave away 3 games for sure. We can point those out right away. The Philly game, the Indiana game, and this last one that just took place against whoever that was. My mind going blank. But those 3 games, we know we gave them away. Those were wins, and we just coughed them up. Last night wasn't that much different. Last night wasn't that much different at all. When you consider how much success we were having when Patrick Beverley and Dennis Schroeder were simply not on the floor together. When you consider what the score looked like in all them times when they weren't on the floor together. And if you look at the game before that, you're going to see something similar. And if you look at the game before that, you know what you're going to see? All 3 games we've lost, it's been small ball lineups that have ultimately been the detriment of the team. We couldn't overcome it. Our starting lineup issues, what's our starting lineup issue look like? He's putting Dennis Schroeder and Patrick Beverley on the floor, right? That's how he's starting the game. Isn't that how he's doing it? Yeah. And isn't that how we're getting out to the slow starts? Third quarter yesterday, what happened? The game was tied at halftime. By the time the 10-minute mark of the third quarter came, 1 good minute, we were already down by 8. Well, how'd he start the third quarter? With Dennis Schroeder and Patrick Beverley? I'm telling you, man, it's consistent. It's consistent. It's just not one of those situations where you have to look far to see what's wrong with the Lakers. No. You ain't got to look far. It's 2 players being used at the same time very consistently. He gave them dudes 30-plus minutes, in a game that we played. Not this previous game, but the one prior. He gave, I think it was Patrick Beverley had 35 minutes, Dennis Schroeder like 37 minutes. What the hell are we going to do with that, man? And you sitting big players like Wenyen Gabriel and sitting Max Christie. It's just like, I don't know why it's so hard for the Lakers to understand that is their problem. And it trickles down to other problems. Because when you don't look good on the floor, the players are harder to trade because they don't hold the same value. Don't y'all see how that correlates? Don't you see how playing small players makes a guy less tradable? That definitely is not too far of a degree of separation from that. It's like, come on now. And then the trade, issues that we're having, we're trying to make certain moves, but are overpriced and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, we at least got to help ourselves in some areas that we control. If there's certain things that we can't do because of our assets, fine. Then let's be extra conventional, I guess, in our matchups on the floor if we can't be gunslingers and cowboys in the trade market. Doesn't it make sense? Doesn't that make sense? If you're looking at the balance of things, Rob Pelinka is in a space where he hasn't moved, despite needing a trade the whole time, all summer long, all this time. He hasn't moved. Now, I personally think that it's probably a good thing that he hasn't, based on what I think is probably being presented to him. Probably none of that stuff has been any good. We would probably hate every trade presented to him, but given his history, making trades and stuff like that, you don't necessarily trust some of the stuff that he's pulled the trigger on either. And in all these other conversations we know may have actually taken the power out of his hands. It could have been Clutch moving this, could be a different thing. So all of that being said, I'm not necessarily mad that he hasn't made a trade. I'm just not pleased at the fact that because we're not making trades, doing this on the floor is just doubling down on what doesn't help us. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. We gotta be very, very, very safe and conventional and sizey and matchup-y and not taking so many chances with our roster. That's all I'm saying with the roster we have on the floor. If we need guys to look good in order to make trades, if we need guys, to be able to have high plus minuses and stuff in order to look attractive to other teams, why the hell are we going out there leaving ourselves with size disadvantages for 37 minutes at a time on the game? In a 48-minute game. These are the things I just I don't know. Maybe the imagination of the people who are not looking at it this way are thinking, well, if we put Max Christie on the floor, he's going to get hurt. We're not going to have him out there for long anyway, as to which we'll end up leaning on those 2 guys anyway. All right, then let's do that. Let's let leaning on them be a last resort for us. Why not? I don't see any harm in letting Patrick Beverley and Dennis Schroeder be our last line. I mean, like, what's the problem? I see no problem with that. I'd rather lean on them after needing to lean on them rather than leaning on them beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Having it be a situation where it ain't necessary. So no matter how you try to present it to me, there's no logic in playing Dennis Schroeder and Patrick Beverley together, even having them on the team at this point. We just need to trade them if at all possible. If not, then bury them behind Max Christie and Scottie Pippen, please. And ahead is Kendrick Nunn, of course. So that's how the pecking order should be, man. And unfortunately, until we see that, I really don't think the team is going to win any basketball games, y'all. I'm not going to lie to you. I think LeBron James is playing excellently. He's playing carefully. He's being efficient. He's getting guys involved. He's doing everything he can, but he can never be a center. He's never going to be tall enough to out-rebound Domantas Sabonis or Joel Embiid. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. And so he's never going to be agile enough to or quick enough to guard Ja Morant or nothing like that. It's never going to happen. So if you don't get him the help that he needs, you can sit up here and put all this onus on him to be the all. You can skip Bayless it all day long and say that he's supposed to do the impossible, but the math ain't going to add up. The math ain't going to add up. The man needs certain things in order to compete for a championship. And if you give him those things, he probably win the championship. But if you don't give him those things, he's just going to continue to find himself in the same situation he's in yesterday. Loser. Ain't his fault. You know, in some cases it may be, I don't know, but not on the court yesterday. He did everything he was supposed to do. And the teammates around him did it too. It's just that you didn't put the right ones on the floor. Simply put. So this is one of them situations where it's like, look, man, we can't keep firing coaches. We can't keep calling for coaches' jobs. You certainly don't want to call for a rookie's job. I don't actually think Darvin Ham is doing a bad job. I just think we've reached a space where we got another one of these coaches that's hard-headed about what they believe in. We seem to always find these dudes. I don't know what the hell it is about that particular trait, but we always find a coach that wants to do something to the detriment of what's conventional, that he really, really believes in, that nobody else believes in at all, and it doesn't work. It's like 4 coaches in a row we've done this, literally like 4 coaches in a row. And it's just like, what the hell is up with Genie hiring these people? Stop hiring so many hard-headed people. Can we get some people that can just literally know how to like match up? And then it dawns on me, you probably have. It's just that they ain't letting them. What's the one constant? If the coach keeps changing and the systems keep staying the same, what's the constant? Just like DTLF said, he's starting to think the same thing I'm thinking. That it's them behind the scenes who are pulling strings, and it makes you wonder why. And I remember having Donald Sterling in Los Angeles for 30 years. So I don't have to look far to why someone would deliberately want to lose or why someone would want to deliberately want to make a basketball team worse. I've seen that before. Yeah. So I don't have to ask that question. All I have to do is say, please sell the team if that's what you own. Straight up. If that's what you own, sell the team. You know what I'm saying? If the purpose is to be bad on purpose so that you can do whatever with the numbers behind the scenes, just don't. Someone just got $4 billion for the team. You'll get 6. You'll get 6. You'll get 8 for the Lakers. And I ain't kidding. Maybe even 10. I ain't kidding. If you know what you got. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Look, the Lakers are the cream of the crop. You might as well have the Cowboys in the NFL. You might as well have Liverpool in soccer. This is it. You have the thing. So believe you me, if you ain't going to do right with it, someone's coming after it. They're going to find a way to get it out from your hands. That's the bottom line. You can't do that with the Lakers. You might be able to do that with the Suns. You might be able to do that with some other teams. Not the Lakers. I'm telling you, Jeannie, you cannot do things wrong and expect this to work. So my advice to her, this is what I would have did. I'd have offered a bunch of money to the hotshot GM that's in another place and just get him out of there. Guy like Masai Ujiri, get him out of Toronto. Bring him to you and empower him to do what it is that he does. And he's going to do things a certain way, but he's going to get things done. You know what I'm saying? That's what needs to be. That's what needs to happen, man. Go get Kobe Altman out of Cleveland. He don't need to be in Cleveland no more. He's proven himself to be an awesome GM. He needs to be here. Like, this is the type of stuff I want us to do. You know what I'm saying? I know a good GM when I see one. They got a lot of them in the league. We don't have to, and they're in small market situations. You think those guys wouldn't love to have the advantageous position of being a Lakers GM? Are you kidding me? You give them a blank canvas and tell them they can have any free agent in the world because of it. They're going to put together something special. We just got to give them the opportunity to do that. You know what I'm saying? Give some hotshot GM an opportunity to display his greatness with the best brand in the sport. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's for. That's why you have the best brand, so you can give the best people the best brand. But if you're not doing it the right way, you're not going to be able to do that. You did it the wrong way. That's essentially what you did. You gave the AD and Braun the team, but you didn't do it with any foundation. You didn't do it with any sense of ground. So now they're just trying to hopefully stay healthy so your team doesn't fall apart. Nah, that's you got a championship out of that. We did that. We got it done. Now, get those guys out of here, and let's reset the timeline, be responsible, so that we can put ourselves in a position to effectively get LaMelo Ball or Giannis Antetokounmpo or Wembanyama or Jason Tatum when they become free agents. Like, that's what we should be thinking, because those guys are coming. And the question is, are we going to be a team they want to go to when they become free agents? Or are they just going to say, nah, the Lakers ain't it, and do something else? You know what I mean? Because those guys are coming. Zion, maybe they fall in love with where they're at. Guys like Tyrese Halliburton, you think he's going to stay his whole career in Indy? Nah, he's wearing yellow right now. He's probably already looking at himself in a Laker jersey. Like, these are the type of things I already know is possible. A guy like Jalen Green, he's from California. You know what I mean? He probably want to be home. LaMelo Ball from California. They want to be home. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's a lot of players in this league who are Laker fans. A lot of guys in this league who love LA Sunshine. A lot of guys in this league who have aspirations in entertainment. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand the position that you have to give other guys solutions. I look at a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He has two great talents. One of them's basketball, the other one's fashion. Guy's a gifted artist. He's one of the best artists in the world at that. He's probably as good at that as he is at basketball. And so if he were given an opportunity to be in Los Angeles or New York, he could probably be a billionaire in fashion. Like, that's something I already could tell. That dude is special in that. Like, special. One of the best in the world at that. So it's like, man, you give him a chance to be a Laker, and he's going to turn into the biggest star possible. He's going to be a star in 2 sports. Like, so these are the type of things, like, I already know. I can see all of this ahead of time, and I just feel like if I'm the Lakers, all I need to do is have cap space. That's it. Have cap space. Don't worry about next season. Don't worry about the season after that. Just make sure these little role players continue to get better and continue to add good ones. And little 2-year deals, man. Get you a little Donovan Mitchell for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do nothing for too long. Because when the big dogs come knocking and they start seeing that you're slotted in perfectly, they're just going to want to come right to you. Guy like Zion sees all this in place. Like, yeah, man, thanks, New Orleans. Guy like Jason Tatum been dreaming about being a Laker the whole time. Have to run around in green all this time, man. Thanks, Boston. I'm out of here. And he can just come right to LA, and we have a championship-ready situation in place to compete with whatever the hell Ballmer has in place, because that's important. And we can just continue riding into the sunset. And if LeBron James is playing at 45, he's still a part of it. Believe it or not, he ain't going nowhere. Think about it. Where's he going? He going back to Miami or something? He don't play under Pat. You know, go back to Cleveland. Ownership issues, man. No one wants to play with owners they don't like. You can see that going on in Brooklyn. He's not going to go back to Cleveland when he sees what's going on in Brooklyn. No. What he's going to want to do is stay put, and he's going to want the Lakers to improve. And I think that we can do that if we just get off this AD train, this Westbrook train, and make sure the cap space is really plentiful, and make sure we have picks beyond understanding. I don't know if LeBron James sees it like this. I don't know if he'd be happy with this or not. But if we strip everything down to nothing but picks, that's a canvas that you can revamp fast. It's not like you can't do something really quick to make yourself very good. A team like Utah can make 2 quick trades and be a contender if they want to. A team like Washington, 2 quick trades can be a contender if they really want to. You know what I mean? These are the type of things that they're capable of. If they had a GM that was ambitious and an owner that just wants to do it, it's possible. They could be NBA champions within 2 years with 2 trades. But, it's just about making the right decisions and not doing what we did, which is foregoing your future. And that's why those teams aren't doing that. That's the point. The other option is a better one, and it is for us as well. So we need to reset this nonsense and get the canvas back with those young players, as I've been saying 1,000,006 times. And that's every NBA team's path forward, not just the Lakers. This is what all of y'all should be doing. If you're not winning a championship and you don't have those pieces in place, then it's about resetting your timeline and making sure you get them. And if you're not doing that, then you're just lying to your fans, kicking the can down the road and selling them some bull crap. And so that's what we're going to normalize, understanding that and not allowing our franchises to do that, because they're not bringing down the ticket prices to make that make sense, are they? No, they are not. So we will not accept it. Give us the right timeline. I don't need no damn superstars. The draft picks are going to be superstars. They always are. Everyone was ever been in this league was either drafted or handpicked by some great scouts. So I don't need to be downplayed the understanding of what young players and what draft picks actually are. They're important. We need them. And so that's what it is, man. And that's all we want. That's it. All this other stuff, give me young players too. I like young players. If you can give me a Jabari Smith or something like that, that's great. But I'm honestly not interested in any tweeners, any massive contracts. The dude's been in the league for 9-10 years, made 6 all-star teams, and are about to head down Father Time's path very soon. I'm cool, man. I don't have any interest in adding anyone like that to this team anymore. We've been down that's the path the NBA wants us on. It keeps us at a disadvantage. It's exactly why they keep trying to funnel us them damn contracts. They're trash, man. And they don't have your bird rights to those players attached to them in most cases, unless you've completely overpaid for those contracts. So another reason why you just don't do that, man. I'd rather weigh that against what my players can be when I draft them, and maybe you're working out, maybe you're not. I'd rather weigh that risk versus that bull crap that y'all are signing up for there. So that's what I want to say, man. It's important to just speak out, man. I don't want my team to suck. I watch so many different fans, sometimes even in other sports, and they're screaming their heads off, or they're so unhappy because their team's been going down a path of being bad for so long. I think about like the Detroit Lions fans, Clipper fans wearing paper bags on their heads, and I just see the Lakers heading down that path right now. We're headed down that path. That's what Zach LaVine's contract's going to do for you. You're going to be that bad potentially, especially with the fact these players are injury prone. And so it's like, you really want us to be that bad, Genie? You want to put us on a path to be at risk to be that bad? Like, why would you ever sign yourself up for such a backlash? You know, that's going to be a bad look. And so I don't think Jeannie's in the presence of trying to, bring bad looks her way. And so I think that's what it's about. It's helping her understand what to want as it pertains to this business from a fan's perspective, an informed fan's perspective. Not one of these ESPN bunnies running around here not certain of what to want, but listen to what everybody tell them. No. Someone who's actually looking at the numbers, looking at player production, has his own fantasy, bunch of 100 fantasy basketball teams that I try to keep. I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm able to keep up with. And I'm telling you that half the players we have on our team, we can upgrade and get better. We can get better. We can get better right now. And it ain't going to cost us no 2 damn picks to do it. And it certainly doesn't mean we have to get a contract that's $215 million to do it either. Absolutely not. So that's what I want to see, man. Lakers got to shave off some small guys, bring us a big team. That's another thing. The real teams that are impressive in this league, everybody in their team is like 6'8" or taller. That's what impresses me. The Bucks, Detroit, Orlando, Cleveland, those are teams that the Pelicans. Everybody on those teams is tall, and the short people are super talented. Toronto, the only person that's short on that team is Fred VanVleet, and he's extra great. So it's like, if you ain't putting together something like that, miss me with all it. Because at this point, it's about size and nothing, man. I look at Bol, I look at Paolo Banchero, I look at Franz Wagner, and realize they're going to be playing on the same team for the next 4 years, 5 years. Man, we ain't got no shot if we don't get ourselves some real size out there. That's a fact. So, you keep sending LeBron out there to get hurt, trying to guard these people. We're going to see Orlando in a couple of days. You're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody on the team, 7 feet, basically. The whole damn team. And the guards play football. Like I say, Jalen Suggs, he's a football player. Like, y'all have fun, man. Got Greg Anthony's kid out there. He be jumping out the gym, even though he's a shorter guy. You do not want to not be young right now. That's all I'm saying. You do not want to not be young right now. You do not want to not be talented right now. And you certainly don't want to be short right now. So that is my Laker chat, rant, whatever it's going to be called. I don't know if this is a rant. I don't know if it's a chat. But, whatever we're going to call it, it's about the Lakers. I want my team to get better. We obviously got a Christmas game against Dallas Mavericks. Luka just dropped like 50-plus points yesterday. He's putting up MVP numbers as always. We'll talk about that, and we'll do some homework on them and figure them out and proceed to lose to them likely. It's just, you get drawn down, defeatist, I guess you could say, by this team. They just put you in a space where you know you're going to lose. You know what I mean? I don't like living my life that way. I'm not that type of person. You know what I mean? I'm a confident person. I believe I can figure my problems out. But when you're strangle-held to a bad team that makes bad decisions, you're stuck with their fate. You don't get to strategize your way out of your fate. You just got to sit there and go down with the team. And so when I see stupid decisions being made, salute Kobe Hour, Kobe Minute. When I see stupid decisions being made, small players on the floor 2 years in a row, I start feeling irritated rather than sad or angry or anything. No, it's like, this is stupid. And I don't like it. It's that kind of energy. So that's it, man. That's what I got to say, man. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.